Guys, we're on the second to last week of the entire year and sort of the last week of the entire year because next week really is just going to be about getting in anything that you still need to get in. So this is going to cover May 26th through 29th of the weirdest senior year ever. So our assignments this week are due on Friday as always. You'll have your recommended timeline, but you can approach it however you would like. I'm sure you guys have your own systems that are firmly in place by now. As always, I'm going to be in my Google Meet chat room from 11 to 1. This week it'll just be Tuesday through Friday because Monday is Memorial Day. So maybe some of you guys will be up at your cabins, or I don't know. That seems to be the only thing that Minnesotans do on Memorial Day. So a slightly different schedule than usual. Your goal is not to pass the AP exam this week, despite what the slide says. It is to learn about Minnesota government and to do the vice presidential pick analysis that I have just been waiting to do for weeks and weeks. So Summer and Katie are going to do their presentation. I know you guys thought we were done with presentations. We're not yet. And then you're going to do a little bit of a Minnesota government comparison, and then you'll have your vice presidential pick. So Summer and Katie, make sure to send me your presentation and assessment or activity, whichever the second person is doing, by the end of the day on Monday so that I can post that on Tuesday for everybody else to be able to complete. Then on Wednesday, you're going to have, it's basically a Venn diagram where you are comparing Minnesota's legislative, executive, and judicial branches with the federal government's versions of all of those. So the federal government stuff you have stored in your brain from the past 8 months of learning. And then the Minnesota stuff, you're not only going to learn from Summer and Katie on Tuesday, but I'll also have a handout that kind of walks through each one of them. So that is to help us meet the Minnesota government standard that is part of what we have to do for this class. So that really checks the last box that you need for your government credit for Osseo Senior High. Then on Friday or by Friday, you're going to participate in a discussion about Joe Biden's potential vice president. So we know that he has said that he is going to choose a woman, that it needs to be someone that he gets along well with. He saw that as being a key part of what really worked well with him and Barack Obama. And so that is something that he's talked about. I've also seen him mention having someone from a different generation. However, Elizabeth Warren's name keeps getting thrown in the mix. So I don't know how firm that is or not. So you are going to select a vice presidential candidate. So you're going to see a list in a Google Sheet where you get to select one. And then you're going to indicate if you are promoting that candidate. So if you're going to find research that says, here's why that candidate's a good pick, or if you are opposing that candidate, if you're going to find research that says why they're not a good pick. We often call that opposition research. Which is like kind of, it's more about digging skeletons out of their closet, which you're certainly welcome to do, but it could also be like, here are the boxes they don't check, or here's something that could be problematic. So poking holes versus promoting. So I'm going to list each of those candidates in a Schoology discussion, and then you're going to reply to the candidate's name with your promotion or your opposition stuff. And then you'll be able to read about the other candidates, and you're going to reply to at least one other post commenting on something that you've read there. So maybe you read some of the drawbacks of the candidate and you comment that you think that actually one of those would be a positive and that here's another way to look at it. Or maybe someone sees something as a positive that you're like, actually, I think this could work against someone. So you're going to do a little bit of analysis and respectful dialogue when it comes to that. And then at the end of this, the goal is for you to be able to read through all of those and to ultimately like click the like button, whichever candidate you think is the Democratic Party's best choice, which isn't necessarily the one you like the most because maybe you love Amy Klobuchar, and after reading all this stuff, you're like, just because I think she's amazing doesn't mean I think she's going to help the Democratic Party in the way that we need. Or maybe you think Kamala Harris is the most amazing person to ever walk the earth, but that she wouldn't be the right fit for the Democratic Party right now. So you're going to be clicking like on whichever one you think is the best choice for the Democratic Party, or you can think of it as a prediction. Like if you had to place your bet on one of these candidates, which one do you think would actually win the vice presidency or would actually be nominated to be vice president to Joe Biden's presidency? So that's really the last assignment that you will have for AP Government. So it seems like kind of a nice way to wrap things up. If we're looking at the following week, which we always have that slide that kind of looks ahead, really your job is just to turn in things that you're missing. If you look at your grade at the end of week 8 and you're like, I'm fine, I don't need to do anything else, then don't turn in your missing work. That's fine. But if you're looking at it and you're like, man, I'm like right on the border between an A and a B, and remember, there are no pluses and minuses. So if you are at a B minus, that's a B on your report card. If you're at B plus, that's also a B on your report card. So you are welcome to turn in any missing work if you're like right on the cusp between two things. Other than that, you're not going to have any assignments that you have to do on that final week. Keep an eye on Schoology to find out when you're going to be turning in your Chromebook and your textbook, and all of those extra things that you're going to need before that graduation drive-through ceremony that you guys have on Saturday the 6th. So just keep checking Schoology because it seems like there's a ton of information that is coming out there for you guys. And let me know if you have any questions. I don't always have answers, but at least I know who I can quickly text to find out the answers for you. So feel free to jump into my office hours if you have any questions about graduation stuff in addition to our class. Yeah, that's kind of everything. I'll post one final video next week, even though we don't have anything to cover, just because we have to have like some kind of a cheesy goodbye, right? And I hope that you are all doing great and that you are riding off into the sunset as smoothly as possible in this final week. And let me know if you need anything. And as always, I miss you and I'm thinking of you. Bye.